Who am I? I don't know anymore. Everything around me is so white, and my body seems floating somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I couldn't see what my body looked like, what my voice sounded like, or even my memories were just fragmented pieces with no place. How about I recall those memories? Who knows? Maybe I'll discover something, I thought, causing my vision to go black. Then, like a roller coaster rushing out of the dark tunnel into blinding light,
Hey, V.
my vision brightened again. In front of me was a woman in simple clothes. She shook me. I seemed to lose consciousness for a moment. What do I have? I looked around and whispered, giving the item to the woman and taking the money. Luckily, I didn't need to give her a change because I didn't remember how much the item cost. I have a small cafe surrounded by 3 or 4 small wooden chairs. On the counter, in addition to teapots and colorful drinks, there are several carefully arranged snack bags. Next to my cafe is a class held in a relatively large house, but there is only one class there. I continued to sit and sell silently from dawn until the classroom was dark. Everything was like a fast forward movie. People kept coming in and out of the school, and now and then they stopped by my drink shop to buy something. I simply watched the footage and let the body self move. So, my name is V in my mind. In addition to watching the video, I also curiously speculated about my identity. I still couldn't hear my voice or see my figure. But from the way the morning shift students talked to me, I was probably the same age as them. During the lunch shift, the classroom is used for meetings. I don't know what it is about, but it will be a long time before someone asks me to deliver things and pay a fee equal to my whole day's work. A day that passed relatively peacefully was also very dull. If I had a choice, I wouldn't want to go at all, but it seems like I can't. Strange. Besides the feeling of impatience, there was another feeling inside me, something full of jealousy when looking at the morning shift students, and regret when I heard the adults studying the evening shift mention me. I wouldn't say I liked this feeling, so I closed my eyes.
You're going to work and then go to school.
Opening my eyes, the scene was different from before. It's still my cafe. It's still that classroom, but the person calling me this time is a young man dressed in green from head to toe. After he finished speaking, he left, leaving me confused for a long time. The shop is still selling normally, but it seems like something is missing for some reason. Or someone is missing.
Miss!
While working, the boy's voice rang out behind me. Running to me was a boy with a deformed face and a limp gait. The boy tried to control his breathing. He gasped again, his face showing worry as if he were afraid of what I would do to him.
I'm sorry. I'm late.
The boy said, unable to hide the fear in his voice. I remember. This child was introduced to me by a young man who asked me to give him a job as a helper. I vividly remember that he had to persuade me for a long time, saying something about me being able to do what I wanted without losing anything. Obviously, in that memory, I still couldn't see my shape clearly, but compared to before, I had grown a lot taller. As for this child, he was afraid that I would chase him away because he was late for work on his first day. It looked with wet eyes, waiting to be assigned work. I also looked at it, then looked at the customer who had just finished drinking water and pointed to tell him to clean up. After that, the day continued as before, the difference being that now I was even more relaxed. The other child, Anne, determined to prove himself useful, took on most of the tasks, from washing dishes and mixing water to preparing goods. My job was just to charge money and sit around glaring at anyone who had opinions about the boy. Somehow, after the previous unpleasant feeling disappeared, every time I looked towards the classroom, I felt full of hope.
Miss, wake up!
Someone called. Opening eyes, I saw the eyes of a middle aged man with a face similar to Anne's. That person woke me up from bed, saying I had got up late. It's late for school. That thought flashed through my head while my body hurriedly prepared to make it on time. When I left, I only had time to look a little at where I had just been. As a classic cafe in the heart of a bustling city, everyone dresses differently. More importantly, I seemed to see the woman who told me my name in a picture at a house. I kept running, passing bicycles and groups of people waving at me. They looked so familiar. Run to the place called Culture Palace, through the rows of rooms where teachers and staff are sitting, then grab someone to ask about the class I'm looking for. It's not surprising that I can't hear my voice. The people sitting in the office didn't seem angry when they saw me rushing forward. They were just startled and happily pointed it out to me. This time, I saw an older version of the young man from before. Today's class is so strange. The whole room was filled with elderly people lining up. At the beginning of the rows were 3 or 4 wooden tables filled with doctors and nurses holding syringes. I was stunned and sat down on the chair near the door.
Miss, you are mistaken.
A doctor came forward and told me the situation. The clinic borrowed the classroom today, so I got the wrong schedule.
Today is Monday, so I am sure your brother just don't know.
The doctor explained to Anne I seem to be an extremely difficult person, right? In general, now I want to go home to slowly review the new house and the sudden changes. But the doctor wanted me to stay. He said if I had come here by mistake, then let's talk with him. That's good. Maybe I'll hear more information about myself. I lost consciousness again, and when I regained it, I was back in that suspended state. With all these memories mixed together in my head, who am I?